like body, house, family, etc. Kama, modifications of mental thoughts as desires. Desires are there and they are not considered bad. We have connection or clinging with the objects and only then life happens. Bhranti, confusion or delusion, unable to discern information. Mind has knowledge and seems to be consciousness. It is reflective consciousness, but it is not Atma. While the mind is necessary for interacting with the world, it is not the self because it is impermanent and ever-changing. In Sushupti, there is no mind. Mind appears and disappears. From childhood to now, the mind is changing constantly. If we identify with the mind, we are bound to suffer as it fluctuates. But Atman is changeless. If we love somebody's mind, then we have to accept that the mind is bound to change. So when the mind changes, the love also goes away. But if you love the person as Atma, as consciousness which is changeless, then love will always remain. In deep sleep or coma, the mind is inactive, yet we still exist. Atma has no desires. In deep sleep, there are no desires, no I or mine. But I am there. Therefore, the mind too is not the Atman. The mind's contents are known to us as objects of our awareness. They are the known, not the knower. The mind, with its identification and desires, is not the self. So practice objectifying and disconnecting from the contents of the mind. Avoiding and not addressing the pain in the body or worry and anxiety in the mind is not the witness process. So manage them or just separate from them. Vedanta does not seek to suppress the mind, but to disidentify from it. Recognize and witness thoughts without clinging to them. This witnessing leads to mastery over the mind, Manojaya. The goal is not to destroy the mind as in yoga, but to clearly see it as not self. Verse 7. The Vijnanamaya Kosha or the intellectual sheath is subtler than the mind and holds the purest and clearest original reflection. This reflection is what we call Jivatma, the Chit Chaya. Consciousness first reflects in the Vijnanamaya Kosha as Chit Chaya, then in the Manomaya Kosha, and then in the senses, and finally in the physical body. Body consciousness arises from this chain of reflections. The intellect is predominantly sattvic, allowing a purer reflection, while the mind, influenced by rajas and tamas, reflects consciousness less clearly. I know indicates reflection in the intellect. I think indicates reflection in the mind. I see, I hear reflects in the senses. In deep sleep, Vijnanamaya Kosha also disappears. We no longer know. Since it comes and goes, it cannot be eternal, and therefore not Atman. Though it appears similar to Atman through experiences like I know, its changing nature reveals its impermanence. The intellect is a subtler sheath, yet still not the self. Shloka 8, relationship of mind and intellect. Whenever we use I do, I think, that is the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Kartutvam or doership is Vijnanamaya, and its Manomaya Kosha, the mind, is its Karana, the instrument. The distinction between knowing, which is the field of the inner instrument, and thinking, which is the field of the outer instrument, is subtle but critical. Knowing is not the same as thinking. Recognizing this helps to distinguish between Vijnanamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. Thinking is mental activity and is lower to knowing, which is cognitive clarity. Knowing precedes thinking. We can't avoid knowing about something, but we can avoid thinking about something. The awareness of that avoidance or forgetfulness shows that knowing is present even then. We know what we are trying to avoid. The avoidable object is also the object of knowing. I know I remember, and I also know I forgot. I know the presence and the absence of the object. So knowing is primary and the base of all this. Here, the Vijnanamaya Kosha is described as having Kartutva, the sense of doership. I do or I decide arises from the intellect, while the Manomaya Kosha serves as its instrument. This is the connection and separation between intellect and the mind. Meditate on this. Whenever you are engaged in any action, reflect and try out and reflect and try to find out and separate the action into four parts: the physical bodily component, the pranic aspect, which is the life force enabling action, mental or thinking process, and the intellect or knowing aspect. Do this analysis with all your actions in the outside world, and you will come to realize how the world you perceive is a projection of your mind and that our identification with it is misplaced. This leads to deeper understanding of subject-object separation. The object remains as object and the subject becomes the knower. Both are known to us, so neither is the knower. Atman alone is the witness. Each Sloka identifies a kosha and shows why it cannot be the Atma. Vedanta urges us to discriminate between subject and object. Note these distinctions carefully and reflect on them deeply. All koshas are objects of awareness, therefore, they are not the Atman. Through analysis of the three koshas, we understand prana powers life but is unconscious. Mind generates identity as I and mind, desires and confusion, and is unstable. Intellect knows and decides, but it too disappears in deep sleep. All are temporary, changing and perceived, hence not the self. The Atman is ever present, changeless, desireless, and pure awareness. Om Namo Narayana.
Shrutismritipurananamayam karunalayam namami bhagavatpadam shankaram lokashankaram shankaram shankaracharyam kesavam badarayanam sutrabhashya krito vande भगवन्तो पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नमस्ते शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम ओम नमो नारायणाय We have completed Vijnanamaya Kosha discussion. Now the last kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. In this series of koshas, Anandamaya Kosha is the most important in that sense and the deepest level of understanding. So Anandamaya Kosha, as the name says, is full of happiness. Anandamaya. So now, how we reach here? So what is Anandamaya? As you already know, we had discussion about this. So when intellect has the sattvic quality of the special quality as sattvic, the purest state of sattvic quality, sattva-guna, there reflects Atma, then the identification with Atma pops up. So you think I am so and so. The stronger the personality, the stronger the ego. So there is a connection with ego and personality. So when we try to understand this concept, whole concept of ego and personality and myself as identification with the intellect, mind, all this, there the difficulty comes with the experience what we have from outside. The collection of sense data which gives you different, can't go into the deeper level of understanding. So here we have to disconnect that type of identification. I am using this word disconnecting. Actually, there is no disconnection as such. Only we can identify it and know what is happening. The process, what is happening there. So when one sadhaka, one seeker understand this, my ego and my sense data's collected, which are roaming in my mind. So that is making my identification, my experience, what we call it as experience. Now, without sense organs, you cannot see what is your experience. So normally we don't have any other experience other than this, or this intellectual function itself is a blockage. If is a cover, it is covering the Atma, sealing the Atma. So therefore, we have to understand what is happening there. So therefore, this understanding of koshas is very, very important for the realization, the steps towards realization. So when we think about Anandamaya Kosha, normally we call it Anandamaya Kosha, or we experience in deep sleep. No, in order to understand, we say that because Anandamaya Kosha is experienced in deep sleep. But that is not true. Anandamaya Kosha where the Ananda itself is experienced, and the purest form of sattvic vritti that is experienced. So we slowly try to understand this how we can experience Anandamaya Kosha. Because if you able to recognize it, if you can bring the experience of Anandamaya Kosha into your conscious thought process, is something wonderful. It can change the whole life. Because the happiness, what we think in relation with objects, that is objective consciousness. There, we need to we need to connect with objects, because without objects, we have no reasoning why I am having happiness. I am experiencing happiness. So you always try to find that. But the reality is, the more are we object conscious, the less are we self-conscious. So you see the two forms. I think you understand this. The object conscious life is what we call is as life. So the more we are into object conscious life, we have less time, less opportunity to be self-conscious. So these two different paths. Now we see psychologically the mind works.
Swamiji, the
In relation
audio
with
is not
its
clear.
own objective perception. Sorry?
Audio is not very clear, Swamiji.
Now how is it? Better? Okay, thank you. Okay, because we don't have much option. Sometimes this mission itself is making some problem. Okay, so now you see that is why I said. So we need to connect with objects. That is our problem. That is our tragedy. If that is not working, we are missing something. Okay, so the objective consciousness, that is something we have to really understand. What is this objective consciousness? What is this objective happiness? Why we are after it? Okay, so these are the points where Vedanta deals with, and which Vedanta give correct answer and resolves the problem. So as I said, we want Ananda, we want happiness. We, in the sense, not me actually, no. Who wants happiness? That is also another question that we will deal with. Now, normally we say I want happiness. But in reality, if I mean Atma, Atma doesn't want anything. So Atma doesn't need happiness, because Atma by nature is happiness. So Atma will not long for happiness, right? Now, this body, what we see, the physical body, his body needs happiness? No. Mere body, no, separating all other things, mind and things like that. Body alone. Body alone doesn't need any happiness, because body is inert by itself. So it doesn't need happiness. So we can say the sense organ, the sense organs needs, or the mind needs, or intellect, ultimately ego, the person itself, the ego. Ego is a mix of intellectual functions and psychic function, and all those. We can say there are some very complicated function that how ego works. Even today, after all this research and papers, even scientists could not identify this ego. What is this ego? How this ego works? How the different functions of brain get together, become ego? No, is something wonderful. They don't understand that, and nobody can understand, because when we see the function of brain, each function has different department, and it is function, all function is separated. But after all those function, or whenever that something happens in brain, this person identify with that and say, I am doing that. So this is something very special is happening there. Now, that is okay. So now, who needs happiness? This ego. Okay, this ego needs happiness. Ego is longing for happiness. And that ego, how it's trying to get happiness? Through sense organs, through mind. No, then of course, sense organs needs physical body to carry it, to carry all the works, functions. So this is how it happens. Now, when we see each element as physical body, sense organs, mind, no, all the koshas, prana, and like that. Each element is not ego. I am quoting this ego as individual personality. So each part is not ego. Each part is not personality. But all together, the collective form of that is called personality. And this person is enjoying, this individual is enjoying happiness. So when it enjoys happiness, when the mind is objective, mind object conscious, then this person enjoys. And when mind is subject conscious, what happens? Then the person is withdrawn from all actions. So there is no action. So then it doesn't feel anything. Then it needs some support, some object. It again search for objects. So this is what happens in our life. Therefore, each day, in every new objects, new situation, everything new, we want to connect with those. So it goes on. There is no end. Now we take up this Anandamaya Kosha. So where the Ananda is experienced. Now you see, objects are there, but objects cannot give happiness. Objects alone cannot give happiness. So you need to connect with that. You need your thought process and all those desires and like that. Liking towards objects. With those conditions, you get some happiness. So this all phenomena happens with your own awareness. Because you know, as we in the last class we had discussed, I know that I know. So I know that I don't know. So all these we are aware about. So the awareness consciousness is actual enjoyment. So when I enjoy a flower, I see a flower, beautiful flower in front of me. I enjoy it. How I enjoy it? Because I know it. I am aware about that object, that flower. So that awareness gives you happiness. Flower is there, but you are not aware. Then it doesn't give. So now the problem comes. Sometimes the object is there. You are aware, but you don't like it. Then also you feel it, you don't have happiness there. But still the Anandamaya is working there. Why I am bringing all this story? Because I want to clarify, give you a correct form of Anandamaya. So Anandamaya is there in likeness and unlikeness, good and bad. If your awareness consciousness, any form of awareness consciousness is working, then the Anandamaya is reflected. So there is a steady movement or steady experience of Anandamaya. So how we can prove it? We can prove it as you don't like an object, and immediately somebody says, no, you see, this is very good for you. This is very useful for you. This is very good for your health, or whatever. If somebody advises you on the spot, you will immediately like it and you immediately try to get it. So now you see, within a moment, everything changed. It means when you are aware about that object, you know that object, then also you are getting some experience of that without liking, no desires. So without desires, in the sense you are just watching it, observing it, and then you don't know about it, so you don't like it, because liking come after you know it. You know it, something similar to that. No, if you don't know, how can you like or dislike? So even in that moment, the awareness was there. So liking and disliking appears later. That is with applied informations. So you get right information or useful information regarding that, then you may like or dislike. So just knowing an object without condition, if you are aware about an object without condition, in that stage, actually, your mind is inverted, internalized, we can say, in that moment. Whenever you know something without like and dislike, I think you are following me. What I am trying to say is, like and dislike is brought by mind, intellect, and its informations. Just knowing something, just aware about something, that awareness, consciousness is different from that. Even that awareness without liking and disliking also giving some sort of happiness, some sort of bliss, some sort of we can say relaxation inside. That happens not with the connection with the object or anything like that. That experience, because since there is no like and dislike, is not forming anything like that, then but you know it. So the inward internalized form of thought, now the psyche is internalized, the mind is internalized, then in that direction you get some experience. Therefore, when you sit in meditation, you can take another example. When you sit for meditation, you see, when you sit for meditation, you don't want to remember any object. That's the normal process we practice in meditation. We don't want to remember any object. We want to avoid all those objects and sit quietly and meditate. So why we do that? Because in that situation, even a thought with an objective thought may disturb your meditation, okay, your concentration. That is why you want to avoid it. Now you see, there what happens? Because you are getting some internal bliss, internal happiness, enjoyment. You want to get into that. You are trying to experience that. For that sake, you remove all the objects outside. You want to forget those objects. So this shows without object also you have some sort of enjoyment, some sort of experience of enjoyment. Therefore, you want to avoid that. And it happens in Sushupti. Normally it happens, is very normal there. But there we don't have that awareness, so we take this meditation concept. Now, if somebody asks why you want to meditate, why you want to forget all the objects, why you want to forget family, why you want to forget job, why you want to forget all the tensions, all the objective thought process of mind, why you want to do that? What answer you have? If you know Vedanta, you may say, no, I want to know Brahman, I want to know Atman, all those, no, something you say. Now you see Brahman and Atma in this stage, we don't know, we know it or we don't know it or whatever, we don't know now. But there is something which is attracting you inwardly. That is why we want to sit. When we have so many problems, we say, no, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to think. I don't want to do anything. I just want to keep quiet and sit quiet. Nobody should disturb me. Why it happens? Because all the objective awareness, objective consciousness is disturbing you meanwhile. So you know there is something which has no disturbance with this. So I want to get into that. Therefore, I don't want to discuss all this. Just I want to stop it. Shut down all those. Now see, this mind is very important. If you try to analyze this mind, you know Vedanta. Then you study Vedanta. So this mind shows you have an Anandamaya Kosha inside you without object, without functions, without actions, even in all the problems and tensions and irritations, it can give you relaxation. Right? So this is the Anandamaya Kosha. I just am trying to simplify it and bring to your mind and experience to how to distinguish Anandamaya Kosha from normal happiness. Now, after that, we can say normal happiness is also connected to Anandamaya Kosha. That's a different story. Normally, we study that in Tattva and all those, we study that only. But Anandamaya Kosha is even deeper than that. So that is how it happens. Now, what is the conclusion of this introductory discussion? The conclusion is, when mind is internalized, inwardly active, or mind turned back to Atman, then there is something you experience. You see, still this is not Atma's Ananda. This is not Swarupa Ananda. This Anandamaya Kosha is still different from Swarupa Ananda. That we have to remember. Swarupa Ananda is Swarupa Mulli. That we will discuss in the next shlokas. Acharya will show that. But this Anandamaya Kosha is in this stage where you experience it without functions of all objective functions. So that is the difference. So now, therefore, I said the objective consciousness and the self-consciousness or the subjective consciousness. Now, when the objective consciousness mind turns back or it invert into subjective consciousness, there it experience Anandamaya Kosha. And this Anandamaya Kosha, as I said, it is always with you. You are not, you cannot stop it. It is always with you. So whenever you have some outside disturbance, whenever your objective happiness is not functioning, or happiness in the sense organs, they are not functioning, and you have some disturbance, your mind is disturbed, or you are tired with physically, tired, mentally you are tired, and intellectually tired, or you have sort of, it means all the your instrumental functions are disturbed. Experience from that. In that condition, you like to go inward and sit quiet. Even a busiest man will say this: I want to sit quietly for some time. Let me free for some time. No? So why he says? Why his functions are not always giving him relaxation? It cannot give. The constant relaxation will get only from this Anandamaya Kosha. So now, what can be your practice? Your practice can be, whenever you get any sort of enjoyment, happiness from object or a subject or whatever, any sort of any kind of happiness. Just remember, this is a reflection of Anandamaya Kosha. Remember this. Then the objective functions of outside functions will not disturb you that much. Okay. Therefore, sometimes when you quarrel, no, if you have some quarrel, some distraction with dispute with others, you have a big fight. If I say, even with that big fight, you are getting a sort of enjoyment. Because Anandamaya Kosha is still there. It says, now you see, you are in a situation where you have to fight. Okay. So if you fight, you will be relaxed. So you will have a fight there. Then you know, we will all experience after fight, when fight is completed, you will feel a little relaxation. Okay, whatever I wanted to say, I said. So now I am relaxed. With that it's also possible. After the fight, after 1 hour, again he or she, whoever, will come to you and say, oh, sorry, it's happened. Okay, it's gone. Sorry, and then it's gone. So why it happens, you know? The fight is not real. The reality is, after fight, what you experienced as a relaxation, that may be the same that opposite that person also, he also experienced the same. So therefore, you could reconnect it. Because any fight, maybe whatever type of fight, it will not continue for a long time. It cannot continue because that is not your nature. It cannot constantly stay back with you with the same strength. So this is Anandamaya. Here we are not bringing Atman directly. You have to be careful with this. Atma in all these differences, all these activities. And Atma is witness of all this. Okay, so there we experience the Anandamaya Kosha. So why we are happy? Now you see why we are happy. So there in the state of when we think of our own experience, or no, we go inside. And why we are happy, it is nobody can answer the question. It is, as I said, no, this question unanswered. And if you ask scientists, they say there is some hormones, happy hormones, then the happy hormones are produced, then you are happy. Okay. So now the question is, you are happy because of happy hormones, means after happy hormones are activated, then you are happy, or when happiness starts, then happy hormones activate. So this is a question. See, again, it is unanswered. See, if you say, actually what happens, some thought process, okay, some thought process comes to the mind, which is related to some happiness, some objective happiness. Then to make that happiness active or experienced, brain takes an action and go after it and make all these hormonal changes and things like that. That's the story there. So because without these happy hormones and things functioning, you are happy and you are enjoying undisturbed happiness in sleep, deep sleep. Because in deep sleep, we normally say there is no hormonal disturbances. Okay, so it is something different. Now, there how you are happy, if these hormones are making happiness, then in deep sleep, without object, without these hormonal functions, how you are happy? Why you are happy? So that is our Anandamaya Kosha. So the reason for the happiness is internalization of mind. That's the answer. So this we have to apply and practice. So reason for the happiness, wherever you get happiness, reason for the happiness is internalization of internalization of mind. Then what happened? Then that mind is in direct connection with Atma. It is like just face to face. So when mind is internalized, the mind is facing Atma. Just we can imagine like that. So in the direction of the Atma, the real Satchidananda, you get happiness. This is not only when you are in meditation, but also when you are in action. In both the cases, happiness is happening this way only. So that is why Anandamaya Kosha is experienced not in deep sleep, but also in all other actions, even when you are meditating, when you are awake, when you are in action, in all conditions, you experience Anandamaya Kosha. So now we see what Acharya says about it. 9th Sloka. Kachidandarmukha vrittirananda pratibimba bhak punya bhoge bhoga shanto nidra rupena liyate. You see how Acharya could make such slokas. It is something amazing, unbelievable. In such a short sloka, he connect all the importance point of Anandamaya, which we just have discussed, like 40 minutes we have discussed now. In simple words, it says first word you see, we will see word by word. Kajid andarmukha vritti. Kajid andarmukha vritti. There is a vritti. Vritti means mental function. There is a function, there is a psychic function that is happening. Andarmukha vritti. What type of function? Andarmukha vritti. That is what I said. Internalized function of mind. So in that internalization also the function, the mind's function is there, mental function is there. So that is itself is there. So this is what is missing from our this objective world. Nowhere in the schools and colleges, nowhere you study this point, how the mind is internalized and then you get happiness. Even this concept is not discussed because nobody knows this. Nobody is caring for this. So the kaschid andarmukha vrittihi. So when mind in that position of or in that kind of function, which is facing towards Atma, the facing towards Atma, we call it internalization. Inwardizing Atma's mind's activity. So making it internalized, inwardly changing. So Kajit Antarmukha Vritti. Ananda Pradibimba Bhak. So that internalized direction towards Atma. So mind's internalization towards Atma on that direction. So that is called vritti. That is a function. Vritti means you just generally understand function. Vritti, we call it as thought process. Thought is called vritti. Thinking is called vritti. Knowing, thinking, all is called vritti. Okay. So now what is that vritti? Because no objective vritti. Here the vritti is the function is mind is turned towards Atma. It is turning back to Atma, turning back to self. So therefore, when you have problem outside, you want to sit quiet. So when you sit quiet, sit alone, normally that particular time, the mind is getting the chance to turn towards Atma, turn towards yourself. Okay, whenever you have some problem, you do that. Actually, not only in problem, but also in other normal functions. When we are tired, physically, mentally tired, we want to sit quiet. So this is what is called meditation. This is what the all Swamis, all Acharyas prescribe for you to sit quiet, relax and meditate. No. So this is what is that. So that is called Andarmukha Vritti. And that Vritti is Anandamaya. What is happening there is a reflection of bliss. It's not the original bliss, but the reflection of bliss. That is Anandamaya. The Brahman Atma is still behind Anandamaya. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha. The Upanishad says. Brahma is behind this Anandamaya. This Anandamaya is not Brahman. Anandamaya is the reflection of Brahman or Ananda. Therefore, you are experiencing it. So, Ananda Pradibimba Bhag. Ananda Pradibimba Bhag is a reflection of bliss which is experienced. Now, here I say, here what I said just now, whenever you have some experience of bliss, you are turned towards Atma. Without that, one cannot have any kind of bliss or enjoyment, joy experience. Right? Why? Because the source of bliss is only self, only Atma, not outside objects. Outside objects are not the source of bliss. So, that is the function here. Now, then he says, now, how can I get more Anandamaya Kosha, more Ananda, more bliss, more happiness? He says, Punya Bhoge. Now, it is connected to your karma. Punya Bhoga, your good deeds. All the karmas you did it. If you have done good karmas, you see, you will not have much much problems in your life, and you will be relaxed. Mostly your life will be relaxed. So people say you are happy. That is what people say. You are happy. Because when they see your relaxed life, they say you are happy. So therefore, punya bhoge, the punya, we can say that is the cause for this. The enjoyment comes from good actions. So good deeds makes you happy. So punya bhoge, bhoga shandau. Oh, then when there is no bhoga, no enjoyment of this punya or good deeds, then what happens? Then he says, no, still you are getting it. Nidra rupena liyate. Then an absence of, or some kind of absence, you go to nidra, you go to deep sleep, there you get it. The same ananda you get it, because when you go to deep sleep, the mind is internalized in that way, and mind is in direct face to face with Atma, or we can say it is one with Atma for that time. So you are happy there. Unconditional happiness, you get it. So that is, we remember that is the deep sleep happiness is not objective happiness, and nor we can say it is subjective happiness. It's not completely subjective because it is not atmajnanam there, but in between, is mind is so near to Atma, so the mind is happy there, relaxed. So now you see, both conditions he has shown in this one sloka, single sloka in 2 lines. He said, what is Anandamaya Kosha? That is Andarmukha Vrittihi, internalized thought process or internalization of mind. And that what we experience is Ananda Pradibimba, the reflection of Ananda. It is not original Ananda. Original Ananda is self itself. That we will discuss next sloka even deeper. Punya bhoga. So you experience outside. Then when that experience completes, it means you are not in waking state, Jagrat Avastha. So when all that karma stops into deep sleep, so there it comes naturally. Nidra rupena liyate. An absence of any kind of outside awareness. As I said, no, outside objective awareness. Now you don't have any objective awareness. Your sense organs are not working, and sense data is not working. Everything stopped. So your mind is completely inside. Now, Annamaya Kosha, that is physical body. From there, Pranamaya Kosha is inner part of that physical body. And again, Manomaya Kosha, which is functioning with the support of prana, and it's still inner part of that. That's also you have the experience there. And in Vijnanamaya Kosha, all identification and personality, ego and everything is there, intellectual functions. And then you come to Anandamaya Kosha, which is actually the background of all these functions. So in Anandamaya Kosha, in that ground, Vijnanamaya Kosha functions, mind functions, prana and physical body. Prana and physical body and mind in between, Pranamaya Kosha is there. So it functions like this. So this is how we just try to understand what is Anandamaya Kosha. In Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya Swamiji's, in his Bhashya, here in one place he beautifully established this, described this. So whenever your good karma appears, so good karma is predominant or pops up, you have some sort of enjoyment. Even the objective enjoyment you get from good karmas only. So Vishaya Upadho Andakarana Vritti Visheshe. So the special Andakarana Vritti, special function of mind that brings you happiness. And that special function of mind, how it comes? It comes from Sattvika Vritti. And how Sattvika Vritti appears? Because of your good karma. So if you want to get more and more happiness, even objective happiness, you have to perform good karmas. Good karmas, good deeds. Always think positively. Try to help others. Wherever you feel goodness, you try to support that. So the good karma can bring you goodness or happiness. This is the only way. And by doing this, we will just move on. And at last, when we reach certain point, we stop doing all these actions. We don't want to do any actions. You completely renounce all the actions. You want to just withdraw and sleep or withdraw and meditate. So there you will reach in that stage where you will have enjoyment, or you will have bliss without karmas. So it is directly connecting with the Atma. So there you don't need any good deeds, good karmas. But for objective enjoyment, if you want to lead an empirical life with objective enjoyment and functions, the only thing to achieve this Anandamaya Kosha is perform good karmas. That's the point. Nowadays, people say, now in this world, this in particular time, it's very difficult to live with the good karmas. No, everywhere there are problems. People are cheating and doing this, and all those are there. So if we only do good karmas and always try to live like that, it is very difficult for us. That is what people say, but that's not true. Because your karma will protect you. Others' karma is their business. So if they do bad karmas, they are going to experience it. And if you do good karma, it will come to you. Maybe when you are performing it, that time maybe you are facing some difficulties, of course. But ultimately, that will give you good result. That is the only option we have in this world. No other option we have. So now what to do? No other way to do that. So therefore, do try to understand this and sit whenever you sit for meditation or after sleep, or whenever you have any kind of enjoyment, try to understand this is coming from Anandamaya Kosha. This is what is Anandamaya Kosha, and this Anandamaya Kosha is the reflection of Atma. Why it is reflection of Atma? Because now my mind is internalized It is directed towards Atma. Therefore, andarmukha vrittihi. It is internalized. Therefore, I am getting it. So this is the Vedanta. We can say passive Vedanta. Now I am. You may be hearing it first time. Passive Vedanta. Passive Vedanta, you know, active and passive, no? Active case and passive case. Passive Vedanta means Vedanta only says this. This is the truth. If you want to do it, you want to take it, you take it. You don't want to take it, you don't take it. That's all. We are not forcing. We are just saying this passive. This is what is the truth. If you like to take, you take it. Otherwise, if you want to make problems and you want to live like that, you leave it. That's all. But we try to teach you to help you in this way. Therefore, it is passive Vedanta. Passive Vedanta indifferent. Because if I am saying this, if I say no, you have to practice this. If you don't practice, you don't come and like that. No, if I force you to do that, that's something different. So it is passive. It's giving the knowledge, and this is the reality. If you want to argue on this, that is your problem. You can argue. And if you don't want to accept, you don't want to practice, that is your problem. You can do that. You are free to do that. Or anything you can do that. But the reality is this. That's all. Okay. So therefore, Vedanta is always passive. And even Vedanta gurus, teachers, they are also like that. They teach you and they don't force you. So you have your freedom. You have your intellect and your freedom, your wish to desire. So everything you can do that. So you decide and do it. So I am concluding this with this, that this is what Anandamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya is the what we can say, it is happiness. And wherever you get happiness, that is because of Anandamaya Kosha. Therefore, our Vedanta is passive Vedanta. If you want to enjoy it, enjoy it. If you don't understand, that is also good. If you understand, that's also good. So thank you. Hari Om. If there are any question, I can take one question. That's all.
Hari Om Swamiji. Yesterday, we discussed about the Manomaya Kosha and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Both are actually part of the subtle body.
Correct.
And this is the two functions of the subtle body. And we also discussed that the consciousness is directly reflecting first in the Vijnanamaya Kosha and further hierarchically going down to the other hierarchical down, right? So my question is, since we talked about only two functions of the subtle body, where we have the ego and the chittam and ahankaram, is it not that influencing that I know and I think function difference? So because I know what we talk, is it not, it can derail in a different way depending on the other two functions? How that connectivity we need to understand. I don't know whether I put the questions right.
Yeah, I see this function of chittam and function of ego, ahankara and chittam is also included in Vijnanamaya Kosha. So we don't separate it. But even this Anandamaya Kosha is also there. because whenever you know you have any sort of functions, that is there, no? So you see the 8th sloka said Kartutva and Karanatva bhyam. So the instrumental level and the doership. Kartutva is doership. So Vijnanamaya Kosha has the doership also. I know it. I
Actually, I am unable to hear
when I
them.
think Kosha, so I know, no, I think it's a mental thing. I know is Vijnanamaya Kosha. So this way I try to separate it. So the Kartutva and Karana, the difference between Manomaya Kosha, it is what it said. Now in Kartutva, it is all included. Chittam is also included and the ego is also included, because Kartutva itself is ego only, no? When I say I know, I do it. So this doership is a form of ego. So that way it is one. And now even Anandamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, we cannot separate it from subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. Anandamaya Kosha is also, however, it's a part of Sukshma Sharira. So this how we separate it because with the functions, how the function goes. It can be sometimes my ego is predominant, then you feel it is ahankaram. When your thinking process is predominant, so you see it as mental function. And when you know and you enjoy it, so it is intellectual function. This is the only functional differences. So all are there.
Anandamaya is also
is no,
part of the subtle body, so it is not Karana Sharira.
Yeah, we have to accept it part of. Yeah.
So Karana Sharira is not
separated.
coming into the picture.
No, I don't want to bring Karana Sharira here because Karana Sharira is avidya. We know it, Karana Sharira. What is Karana Sharira? Avidya is Karana Sharira. So, avidya, ignorance is Karana Sharira. Now on Anandamaya Kosha, how can we say the ignorance and Anandamaya Sharira is one? We don't say it. Therefore, I want to separate that from Sushupti, deep sleep, and Karana Sharira. Then understand what is Anandamaya Kosha. Therefore, we have discussed this one sloka here, with this Anandamaya Kosha. There you see in Anandamaya Kosha, he is not referring to any avidya or anything here in the 9th sloka. He's only saying Kajit Antarmukha Vrittir Ananda Pratibimba Bhak. So Punya Bhoge Bhoga Shando Nidra Rupena Liyate. So Nidra, because he is referring Nidra, because there this Anandamaya Kosha is experienced, its full form is experienced there. Therefore, it is there. It is without no conditioning there.
Swamiji, there are 2 more questions. Do you have the time?
Okay, so actually we crossed. Now we can take one question.
Okay, next question is, Swamiji, does Ananda of Satchit Ananda also reflect in an Anandamaya Kosha?
Ananda, yes. Ananda, we have only Satchidananda's Atma Swarupa. The Swarupa Ananda reflects. When we say reflected consciousness, the reflector is maybe a reflector is a mind and intellect and all this, and the reflection comes from Atma only. So it's from Satchidananda.
This question was by Aryan. There's one more from Vishnu. Can we take that too?
Connected question?
Not really. No. The question is by Vishnu. We have been taught that for our vasanas to end, we have to keep on doing karma. As it was mentioned in the class, knowing is the equivalent to doership. So how can we use knowing to get out of vasana karma cycle? Also, for good sleep is punya required?
No. Actually, if your vasanas are very strong to make many actions, produce many actions, reactions, then you have to take karma yoga as the marga, as the for that, to reduce that. So it is like you are interested. If you are interested in any subject, you have to take up that subject and study and realize it. Then only you can overcome that desire. Similarly, there we need to work with. So if you have those types of tendencies, vasanas, we have to follow that. So you have to do puja and other actions connected to sadhana. That is how we separate that. And people who are they have good concentrated mind, and if they can sit quiet and withdraw from actions whenever they need to withdraw, they are not their mind is not attracted to objective enjoyments and like that. They are fit for meditation and or inner sadhana and studies. And knowledge, if you take knowledge as information, the it helps in both ways. No, it helps for meditation, and it helps for it helps for action. Knowledge is a basic ingredient is needed for all other sadhanas. So it is, or we say bhakti yoga. It means where bhakti is predominant, bhakti has some more important.
Swamiji, we are not able to hear you.
Now it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, regarding nidra, deep sleep is not actually deep sleep is not an effect of or a production of any karma or any karma phala. No. Deep sleep is a natural process. It comes and goes like that. So good karma, bad karma doesn't make any difference in deep sleep.
Swamiji, we lost that bit you spoke about when you spoke about bhakti.
Before deep sleep, of course. Before deep sleep, and if you have bad karma, you have bad life. That's different. But in deep sleep, all are the same. All are same. All are experiencing the same enjoyment. There is no degree of comparison.
Swamiji, you said something about bhakti. We couldn't hear you at that time. What was that?
Acha, what I said, when we say bhakti yoga and jnana yoga, when it doesn't mean bhakti yoga, there is no knowledge, there is no jnana. Bhakti yoga also needs the help of jnana. Bhakti yoga also needs the help of karma. But the emotional bhavam and that emotional shraddha, that is predominant there. Love towards the worshipful guru or god or anything. So there that bhavam is predominant. That is taking the importance role there. Then other part, They are there, but they are supporting this. And when we say Jnana Yogam, so Jnana has the importance, and Bhakti and Karma it goes together. So any marga, any action is not a singular form of that action. It is always plural. It means it is all connected with all the others. Yeah. So we conclude with this. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi